Hey, YouTube, hold on. My screen looks fuzzy. I'm trying to make sure y'all clear. Maybe it's just on that side. All right. Hey, YouTube. I'm also going live on my Facebook channel. So, hey, YouTube. Hey, Facebook. How is everybody doing this Friday evening? I hope you're doing well. I wanted to get on and I just wanted to have a little talk with you guys today. I saw a post recently and the mom was expressing how she was struggling with how to explain to her child that, the father was not around, where her father was, why her father wasn't in her life, and so on and so forth. And I guess the child, because she didn't have an answer, she had come up in her mind with a reason to her, where her dad was. So she's come up in her mind that her dad is dead. So the mom was struggling with, how do I explain to my child why I'm a single parent? And I felt like there are other people who struggle with this too. And so I wanted to get on and have a conversation. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Whether you're watching from YouTube or you're watching from Facebook, drop a comment, let me know where you're watching from. And if you know any single moms, invite them to watch this video as well. And I'm just praying that we'll be able to help somebody as I share my testimony of how I overcame those struggles of, raising kids alone and learning how to navigate by myself, essentially, being a single parent. So let's get started. So I gotta stop looking at the YouTube screen because it's like freaking me out. It's showing weird stuff. But so I'll go back in my story. And if you don't know, I wrote a book a couple years ago. It's called Growing Pains. I'll put the link in the description after I'm done. But I talked about how I became a single mother the first time. And I shared in there going through my divorce and how scary it was, but how I knew I needed to make that decision for my child. So fast forward, when I became a single mom, my son, my oldest son, he's 16 now. He was 1 at that time when I decided to leave his dad and get a divorce. And as I've mentioned before, there was cheating, there was abuse, there was a lot of different things going on. And I just knew that that's not what, what I wanted to raise my son in. That's not the life that I wanted him to have. And even though it was hard, it was not as hard for me as the thought of him being raised in a household where he was going to see these things and think that it was okay. So I had to take a step of faith, trusting that, God was going to take care of us and get out of that relationship. And so that's what I did. After that, I dealt with the stigma of, okay, well, now I'm a single parent, I'm a single mom. Now I'm, I'm a statistic, as people say, especially being a Black woman and being a single mom. And I watched my mom be, a single mom and a Black woman multiple times. And so I didn't want that stigma, but because I didn't have a whole lot of money, I ended up on welfare. I had to go get welfare for my kids. So that was a struggle that I dealt with of, am I good enough? Now I have to rely on the government, things like that. So in my time of, and like I said, this is at the beginning of my walk, 15 years ago. And my struggle, my biggest struggle was how am I going to help my son to understand where his dad is at, why we're not together? Now, granted, he was 1 at that time, so that's not something that he was actively thinking about at the moment, but I knew that time was going to come. And since his dad and I weren't together, and because of the way that the relationship ended, we didn't really, he didn't see him much in the first couple years. And there was even times where I had to help my son to navigate as he got older. And he started asking, like, well, my dad said he was coming. How come he's not here? Does he not love me? Then his dad got remarried and he was like, he got a whole other family and he doesn't want me. And so being a single mom, it's hard because we carry those burdens. We don't want to see our kids hurting. We don't want to see them be in pain or feel rejected. And then it makes us angry, and we already have the issues and the anger over the relationship ending for whatever reason, because you invested yourself in this relationship. At some point, you probably even loved this person and you thought it was going to last forever, and then it didn't. So then you're hurt because of that. But now you have a child, and now your child is being hurt because that person is not there in that relationship. So what I had to do was I had to learn how to truly start relying on God to be the father to the fatherless. That's what his word says. He says, I am a father to the fatherless. And even if your mother or your father forsake you, I, the Lord, will never forsake you. I will always hold you close. And I had to start asking God, like, God, I need you to show me what that means for my child. How are you showing up to be a father for my child when he's, broken and he's sad and he's missing his father? So God started helping me. Not only did he show up and provide for me in many ways, it was to a point where I wasn't even receiving any child support. But God was opening doors of providing financially for me, blessings upon blessings for me, for my children. I was just telling, if you hear in the background, that's Jeremiah. He's playing video games. And so he has to yell when he does that. But I was just telling him the other day, when he was born, God made promises that he would take care of him. And there was a time where I couldn't even afford to buy clothes for him. And I was like, Lord, you said you were going to take care of this child. He needs clothes. You need to provide for him. And not even, days later, I got a call from somebody. They said, hey, I have bags of clothes that are for Jeremiah. Somebody gave them to me and I don't even have a son. So, they showed up with 3 huge trash bags of clothes, like those big black trash bags, the really big ones, full of clothes for him. Then a couple days after that, somebody else called, hey, I have these clothes. Hey, I have it. I never had to buy clothes for him until he was 5 years old, and that was by choice, because it was something that I wanted to get for him, not because he ran out of clothes. But when God provides for you, he provides in abundance. It just requires you to trust him to be the God who supplies all of your needs. So, like I said, I went without child support, but God gave us the support. He said that he will be the one who gives you the support. He will be the one who provides for you. He will be the one who provides for your child. And you just have to trust him in that. So back to trying to explain to my son why his father wasn't around. Even though he couldn't understand at his age, because he started asking me about it when he was maybe 5 or 6. Why doesn't my dad come around? And I would explain to him, you have to learn to be honest and transparent with your kids without telling them too much and putting them in an adult place. So this is what I mean. I explained to my son, your dad and I, at one point, we did love each other and we were married and we were together, but things happened and we could not continue to be together. And it does not mean that he doesn't love you or I don't love you. It just means that we are not good in a relationship with each other. And so sometimes he doesn't show up. I can't explain to you why, because don't try to make up an excuse for why the dad doesn't show up, y'all. Don't do that. Say, I can't explain to you why he doesn't show up, but I want you to know that it does not mean that you are not loved, and that God loves you. God is always there for you, and you can talk to him at any time. And I just continue to take him back to cultivating a relationship with God. And we would pray for his dad. That was something that it took me a long time to get to this place. And I'm not saying it's easy, y'all, but I had to get to a place where I started praying for my ex. Like, God, please bless him. I forgive him. I had to do a lot of forgiveness, y'all. I spent a lot of time on the altar, but forgive him, and just help him to be the father that he needs to be. So through that, it helped me when I healed and I stopped being angry about the stuff. It helped me to help my son to learn how to pray for his dad and to be able to walk in forgiveness and not hold a grudge against him. So that now, as I mentioned before, my son is actually 16 years old, and 3 years ago, and he's probably going to watch this video on YouTube because he watches all of my videos. So hi, son. 3 years ago, when he was getting ready to start high school, he went to visit his dad. By then, his dad was getting him on a regular basis, and we had a better co-parenting relationship. We were able to talk. We were able to communicate about different things. But my son went out there to visit him for summer, and then he decided that he wanted to stay there. He wanted to live with his dad because we had talked about it previously. You know, when you start high school, if you want, you can go live with your dad. I didn't think he was going to take me up on his offer, but he did. It was hard. I cried a lot. If y'all know, when, you know, your baby, if they ever just leave, even when they go on vacations, when they go visit their other parent, even for a couple of days, it's hard, y'all. And so when he said he wanted to go live out there, and I was like, you mean like you're not coming back like right now? Like you're not coming back after this summer? I cried for like almost an hour in my car. But I knew that it was the right thing to do for him because it was a time in his life where he needed his dad. He was getting ready to go into high school. He was, you know, developing and becoming a young man. And I wanted him to be able to have that relationship and that bond with his dad. And I knew at that time, because we had cultivated a better relationship as co-parents together and we learned to communicate better together, I was able to have him go with his dad and know that I could trust that he would be okay. And so now he's been out there for 3 years, and he comes back and he visits for his, you know, winter and summer breaks and things like that. His dad and I, we have conversations about what's going on in school, everything like that. But it didn't start like that, guys. It didn't, you don't just jump into, you know, go from you in the relationship and then you're great co-parents together. Sometimes you're going to go through stuff, and sometimes the relationship ended really badly and you don't think that it's possible for you guys to co-parent together at all. You don't even want to talk to this person. I get it. I have been there, you know, I've done it. I've wrote books about it, y'all, but I promise you it is possible. And even if that person doesn't want to be in your child's life, or they don't want to be in your life because they ain't walking in forgiveness, you can still learn to rely on God to be a father to your child, and he will teach you and he will guide you through being that single mom. And I'm not saying as a single mom that you become a mother and a father. You have to allow God to be the father in that place, and God will bring in male role models that will help you guide your children, especially if you have boys, to guide your sons into the type of man they're supposed to be. God will bring people to do that. And then ultimately, if you're believing for a husband, God will bring that husband for you so that you are able to have that father figure in the house. But don't give up hope. There is hope. God has a plan for you. He has a good plan for your children. You don't have to struggle as a single mom. You can be successful in this. And I'm a living witness to this. Like I said in the beginning, I started on welfare and food stamps and struggling and, you know, not having a job and stuff, getting out of divorce. But God never failed me, and he will never fail you. So put your trust in him, put your hope in him. If this is something that you need help with, if this is the area you're struggling with, you don't know how to even start the process of putting your trust in God in this area, or, you know, how to learn how to be a good co-parent and communicate with your ex and forgive your ex, if these are things that you're struggling with, or you feel like, yeah, this is me, I need help in this area, go ahead and drop a comment and let me know. I will reach out to you. I am starting a program. I'm going to be helping single moms. I know there are single dads out there. I love you all single dads, but this program is specifically for single moms to help you learn how to get past that anger, learn how to get past that resentment, and be able to actually trust God, forgive your ex, be able to co-parent with that person, be able to help your children get past those rejection issues if your ex doesn't show up at all, but ultimately to teach you how to be successful at being a single parent. So again, if you're interested in that, go ahead and drop a comment below. Also, if you are on my YouTube or my Facebook, go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel. This is where I do a whole lot of my videos weekly, so that you can be up to date when I'm doing live videos, and then also when I'm posting new premieres of videos. Right now I'm in a series about, not single parents. Right now I'm in a series about blended families. So if you haven't seen those videos, you can go on YouTube and see all of those videos. I have videos about how to co-parent. I have videos about how to trust God in your single parenting, and about how to have healthy relationships and not be codependent. I have videos with guys where we're talking about what it is guys want in relationships. So go to my YouTube channel, Inspiring Beauty and Believers. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of the videos. And I'm just encouraging you to keep your hope and your faith in God. God will never fail you. He loves you. He loves your child. Your child is not a burden. Your child is a blessing, and no blessing, you know, every good and perfect gift comes from God. And so he is going to provide for your child, spirit, soul, body, socially, financially. You don't have to worry about that. Just put your trust in him. All right. I love you guys. You have a great day or great evening, and I will talk to you later. All right.